Grave monuments. The graves are of a completely different nature than what we know from Norway's prehistory. There are many different types of graves that again testify to a class-divided society, but also from which period in prehistory they originate. A recurring scene from rock art is funeral scenes. Then you often see a person lying on a bed or buried with only his head above the ground. Around the deceased, who indeed seems alive, and that was the intention, I think. But around the deceased there are people standing, and it seems to be drinking and eating. It was actually the custom among the Phoenicians to bury people with their heads above the ground. Many graves were so-called cave graves or hypogeum graves, and these are the ones that often appear in visual art. The cave graves here have been closed, either with a wooden panel or with stone blocks. So these have probably long ago been opened and emptied of anything of value. There are still quite a few more cave tombs, where you can see that it is still sealed, like this one in the picture, with a large stone block in front of the entrance. The picture here shows the similarity between cave tombs in Malta and in Horten. Pit tombs, also called pozzi, are another category of tombs. As the name suggests, the dead are buried in a pit. Many such tombs are carved out of the rock, and they have had a slightly different design, as we see in the pictures here. Like tombs are usually shallow. A third category of tombs are shaft tombs or fosse tombs. These are burial sites that have been excavated or carved out of the rock. The rectangular tombs are 4 to 5 meters long and just under a meter wide. Here we see what such a burial field might look like. The picture is from Sicily, and you can see how the shafts have been carved out of the bedrock. This picture is from Hortensmarka, where such tombs can also be found. There are several examples of a stone circle, shaped like a heart, enclosing burial sites. Quite beautiful, isn't it? Incidentally, it was the Phoenicians who invented this heart symbol. Today it is one of the world's most well-known and used symbols. The fourth category of graves are the burial chambers, built-up hypogeum graves. A staircase is often built down to an underground burial chamber, which may be built up of stone blocks. On Resin in Horten we find several graves in the categories mentioned. At the top of the hill there are 7 burial chambers, placed next to each other in an arch. Above the entrance to one of them is carved the year 1902. I am quite sure that the burial chambers were there when the defense decided to fortify the hill with a cannon battery. The ramps for the cannons, between the burial chambers, were perhaps built in connection with the construction of the cannon battery. There has been an entrance and stairs down to the chamber that was built in with concrete walls and a roof. It is clear to see that this has been removed and only the lower part of the concrete walls are still standing. Inside the tomb itself there have been decorations in the form of relief work in the stone blocks. Many of these are still clearly visible. These tombs were probably reserved for the elite. Here we first see a picture from a Phoenician tomb in Sicily, not unlike the tombs at Resin. Here we see a queen's tomb from Sardinia. Several ball images can be seen both outside and inside the tombs.